Good morning, and thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I am your host, Dr. Angela Butts-Chester. You know what I like to do on the show? I want to enlighten you. I want to inspire you. I want to empower you to become your best self. Now, Scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And today, we want to get you fired up about the search of everlasting love. That's right. It is out there for us, and we want to dip our toes in it and be a part of such a beautiful thing. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that I love to not only be loved, but to love others and to let others know that I care about them and that they are important to me. So today, I am spending time with author Janaki, and we are talking about her book, Divine Sweetness, Love Aspirations. And I think that you are going to enjoy it. She is probably going to share some poetry with us. And I love it when we have authors that have poetry because they do share some of their work with us. And usually that inspires. So you know what I'm going to say? Go on, get comfy, get cozy, get your coffee or get your tea because we are about to get started. Good morning, Janaki. Thank you so much for being on today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Angela, for finding me.
Now, I want to definitely talk about your book, but before we do, I always ask my authors about, who they are and how they got started and all of that good stuff. So my first question to you is, what makes you you? What has life shared with you along the way?
Yes, what has life shared with me? Well, I feel very blessed what life has shared with me. I had a life with many travels around the world. I born in Holland. Then I was going to be. I was always interested in helping people, so I wanted to become a doctor. And then very short, I became a model out of nowhere. So the divine had a plan for me. And I left my country, Holland, and I went to Italy, and I traveled the world as a very successful model for 12 years. In that experience, I had a lot of success and financial security, but there was missing something inside of me, which I couldn't really describe what that was. But when I was in Germany, I started to do yoga. And once I started to do yoga, I just felt grounding in myself. And I have, that was in 1989. And from that moment on, I've never stopped doing yoga. So for the question, like, who am I? At this point, I would really say that I feel that I am divine, like we are all divine.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if I would have to put words to myself, what I am, I feel I am a mother. I have taken motherhood very serious, and I feel a huge fulfillment in being a mother. I'm a yogi, which yogi comes from the word yoke. Yes. So those are the two things that I would say who has formed me to the person that I am today.
Oh my goodness, that is so amazing. And not a lot of people use the word that you just used to describe how you feel, and thank you for sharing, and that is divine. I feel divine. And that is such a beautiful expression of where you are physically, mentally, and spiritually in just that one simple word. I think for so many people to use certain words, they feel like as though they're putting themselves in a place above someone else, but not understanding that it's not about that. It's about your personal walk. It's about understanding that you have such an awesome connection, not only with the creator, but with those that are around you. So thank you so much for using that. What a beautiful expression of where you are. That being said, being an author, is that something that you always wanted to do?
No. I never. Again, I think in a way I was blessed that I never really was like going blessed and saying, because I never really was like, I want to be this. I wanted to be a doctor, and then that changed. Even that doing yoga and teaching yoga, in a way you are healing or guiding people into their own healing process. But for the rest, I mean, I liked to write. Even when I was young, I remember writing poems for my parents and my brother. And so I looking back, it looks like I definitely had, everyone has a different way of expressing themselves. Some do it good by speaking, some do it good by writing, some do it good by dancing. It looks like I have an easy way writing. So that's what I would say. Like I like to write, but it doesn't mean that I think that I'm good or that I just it just comes. I just like to write, and that's what works for me. So that's why I will not call myself a writer. I just write when I feel like it, and those poems that I wrote, they were written not because I was thinking of making a book.
And I chuckled only because so many times when I'm talking with authors, they will say the same thing. It's not that, I thought I was going to be this, dynamic writer or, it was amazing. It's I have information to share. I like the process of it all and sharing the knowledge that I have with others, and that's what's important to me. And the thing is that I think that so many times people understand that, and they want the book. They want the book as much as they want any other book, because they understand that it's about the information that you have to share with us. So I can definitely understand.
Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling for me. I seem to feel very good in feeling that the purpose. Like I feel like when I write or I share my experience, it gives me a really great sense of fulfillment. I have to really say that is definitely.
It does.
It makes me feel like my life is, my life has does something. Hopefully, to inspire or to enlighten. That I just or not because I really want to enlighten. It's more that I like the idea that I write something and maybe somebody makes them feel good or. Because we are all the same at the end, right? We all feel like we all have the same feelings. We all strive for the same things ultimately: to be happy, to be healthy, to feel good. So I feel even in the lower emotions of whatever lower emotions we have of anger, fear, lower vibrations that we are, it's still good to feel that you can read about that and feel like, well, we all have that.
Right.
We all, so it and that lifts our spirit. And, when our spirit is lifted, we vibrate in a higher frequency. And when we vibrate ourselves in a higher frequency, then that is when we walk around in the street, that connects to other people. And so when we all, vibrate and become a little lighter or release stress or release pain, and obviously we all experience pain and disappointments, and life is not going without those feelings. So so to read something that just lifts your spirit, it's a wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really does. Now, the title of your book, Divine Sweetness, Love Aspirations, I like the title. Did you find that it was something that came to you first and you were able to write around your title, or did you decide upon the title after or while you were writing? How did you come about your title?
Yeah, no, actually, like I said, the poems I wrote I wrote some poems when I was young, but these poems in the book, I started writing around like 1995. And the book is published in 2012. So the title came afterwards. So, I had these poems. And I was like, well, I think it's wonderful to put them in a book, and then I connect them to pictures that I made as a model, and then I also did some photography. So all that, I was like, let me connect the poems to the pictures that I made, and just it's a little bit like, a big part of my life where I traveled the world coming together in the book. And then I was like, what shall I write the book? And I meditated on it. And as my search in life has always been, about finding love and not really knowing what I was asking for, because by finding love, I had kind of thought more about relationship love or that kind of love. And actually the search of that, putting that out into the universe of saying I want love, I did find love, but by connecting within myself and feeling that connection with, we can put different words. We can call it the divine, we can call it God, we can call it supreme being, and that love, that connection is so that's why the word love aspiration, because I aspired for love.
Oh, such a beautiful, beautiful reason. I love that. So beautiful. Now, excuse me, when you were writing, did you have a particular audience in your mind? Like, were you writing just for adults? Were you writing to make sure that you could include young adults? Did you write for a particular group of people, or did you say, I'm simply going to write, I'm going to allow it to flow out of me, and it will probably be a general audience, meaning anyone who wants to pick up a copy can read my work? Did you have a particular mindset about that?
No, actually not, because like I said, I wrote these poems because I was just full, love, the word just love, and feeling all the feelings that I felt in particular moments, and I wrote about it. When I wrote these poems, I didn't even think about making a book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they just happened in that whatever I go through, or I'm transitioning in myself, or I have things that I'm experiencing transformation in myself, or things that I'm contemplating about in particular time frames of my life, I write about that at the end. Like, I write a poem about it.
I love it. Well, it is almost time for us to go to break, but before we do, if you could please, can you remind everyone, what is the title of your book, where can we get a copy, and how do we stay in contact with you?
Okay, perfect. Well, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook by my name, Janike, Janaki. Also, there is an Instagram page which called Divine Sweetness by Janaki, where you can see the poems of my book. And if you like to buy or have a copy of my book, then you can find it on Amazon.com, and then also balboa.com. It's a self-published book company.
All righty, everyone. Now you know where you can get a copy of the book. We'll be back right after this. And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I am your host, Dr. Angela Butch-Chester. My guest today is Janaki, and we are talking about her book, Divine Sweetness, Love Aspirations. Now, my next question for you is dealing with the connection of your poetry to who you are. You were explaining, because there, and I apologize if I cut you off. You were explaining that you were a yogi, and someone may not understand what that is. So, if you could you explain that that term to someone who doesn't understand or is unfamiliar with it? But my question to you is how does that connect to how you express, or do you think that connects to how you choose to express yourself in your poetry?
Yes, I definitely feel that connects to my poetry, because I feel yoga, like I said, comes from the word yoke, which means to unite. So, of course, we're talking about what are we uniting here. And, we unite between each other. We unite between energies. And in the yoga philosophy, or the yoga term, uniting also means that you're uniting to your God source, God energy within yourself. Which is love, which is true when mostly we are turned outward, and yoga is kind of turning the arrow inward. So when you to feel that feeling of going inward and to unite within yourself, and to feel that oneness, that divine spark, that energy that is in you, that is in everyone, that is in me, that is in anything that is alive, is what yoga really means. And when we close our eyes and we kind of sit still and just observe our breathing, in that moment our mind gets quiet. So we don't have all these thoughts or ego desires, to so-called, and everything that we want. We're able to calm our mind, through which the voice of God, guidance, can come through us. And so I feel that all the poems that I wrote, or anything that I write, is because I'm like an instrument. I feel that we're all divine instruments. We're all an instrument of the divine. Everyone has the same God inside, but we all express God in a different way. So I feel that my poems are coming through me, and that's why, because I'm doing a lot of the yoga exercises, and since 35 years, I take much time out in the day to silence my mind, which is the ultimate reason of yoga. To silence the mind fluctuations, the mind vibrations, our thoughts, our worries. And so I feel the more I am connected, and my own mind is calm, and I feel that God can speak through me, and through that He will give me, He or she will give me everything that I need to know or share.
I love that.
Does that make sense?
It really does. Now, do you think that there are particular accomplishments or things that you have done in your life that you can use as fuel, let's say, to keep going, that helps motivate you to the next thing that you feel has been placed along your journey to accomplish?
If I understand right, yes, that is important. It's right that it is interesting that you say that, to keep feeling inspired. Yes, I feel very grateful. So that keeps me going. I feel, when I look back at my life and the things that I have experienced, and like traveling around the world, meeting lots of different people, becoming a mother, and fulfilling that experience, which has been every experience that I've had in my life has been able to teach me or show me so much about myself, because in the relationship with the outside world, that's why I believe that relationships are important, and I've put so many of my whole life about relating, is because through the relating, we get to feel ourselves. Like if we're always alone in the house and nobody outside doing anything that maybe upsets us or it doesn't work in the right way, or we won't really get an opportunity to feel about ourselves. So I feel that all these situations or beautiful people that I've met, and being a mother, and also being able to put my poems into a book, and just keep going to connect and keep going. It keeps me positive. And if not, and if there are days where I don't feel so positive, I have learned, I know tools to change my mind and do mantras, which are mind protection, yogic expressions, like Om, or just I have tools to keep my mind positive. Because it is not easy to. We have to do a little bit of effort sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's so funny that you say that, because when you say, sometimes we have to put a little bit of effort in, I think that's the part where people get stuck. It's as though they think that they are simply going to wake up and all is going to be right in their world. And I say that in quotations, right in the world, that everything, that the birds are simply going to chirp and the sun's going to shine and they're going to hear, the soundtrack of their lives simply play with little to no effort on their part. And that simply isn't true. That we do have to wake up and walk in that purpose of trying to be as righteous a person as we can be, to be as proper and true and authentic as we possibly can be each and every day. I love that.
Yeah, it's a lot of practice. That's what's in the yoga called sadhana. It's a practice every day to keep your mind in a place where it is positive, even when things are not so positive. And and the yoga for me has really gave me all these tools. I have to really say, I feel that yoga is a blessing for humanity, because it's really perfectly made for on a physical level, through the moving of the body and flowing of the energy. Because stress and worry, especially in this time at the moment, where there's a lot of it's really fear is high. So how do we balance that? And yoga gives us the tools to because how would we know what to do? Otherwise we're just a victim of our situation, because that's out of our control. So yes, we need to do it. We need to practice. We have to have some form of self-mastery or self-control. Don't wait for the moment to wake up and say, oh, I feel good to do a little bit of a yoga stretch. I observe in myself that sometimes I just have to just do it. I'm just like, I'm just going to do it. And not wait for the moment that it feels good to do it, And then once you do it, it just, then also you vibrate better, Like you've done it, you've accomplished something. I think our soul, ourself feels good when we have accomplished, especially when we have overcome something. Like, it's a little bit of willpower. Willpower, a little bit, yes, which for some is easier maybe than others. But if you do it and you don't wait, I tell you, it's only 5 seconds to start something.
So what spiritual laws do you feel have helped you along your journey to help keep that peace, that love, that fulfillment going?
Gratitude. I feel gratitude is big, because I have come to see that sometimes in the situation where things happen that are difficult and hard and not what you want and painful and stuff, when we don't find in that moment something in our lives to be grateful for, I have come to kind of say it can, as strange as it may sound, everything can get worse. So there is. I have come to see there is always some simple thing to be grateful for, and maybe at the ultimate thing is even just to be then. If nothing is really great in your life, just be grateful, maybe, or for myself then, for the breath. We are breathing. We have the breath, and we can take it in and we can take it out. But so when you do find something to be grateful for, even or a simple meal, or a simple walk, like in very simple ways, it really makes us stay up. It makes us vibrate better, so we feel better. So that one is big. Also, spiritual law is to surrender. I have come to really establish a really good, strong belief. I have faith. I feel that everything that happens is meant to happen. So even if the things that happen even if the things are not good that are happening, I have come to really see that at the end it has made me a better, a more loving, a more compassionate person. And I feel that's why we are getting life to clear ourselves of lower emotions into a more compassion, compassionate, and then we can share that. So surrender and faith are the two laws that I and then
absolutely
balance obviously, and to keep balance in our body, through we are all made of the same mother and the same father, the original father, original mother. When we were created, the father, the sperm, the mother, the egg, when they came together, so those are plus and minus, masculine and feminine energies. And so we are made of masculine and feminine energies. And so when we keep, through yoga, again, these energies more balanced within ourselves, we are more balanced. We are more centered. We will attract more balanced and people to us. We have better love. We are not so needy because we're balanced in ourselves. So we're not going out to look for love because we are in need of our love. It's not that. It's more that we want to share our love because we are love. So balance, I think, is very important. That has it's a continuous process. And love, unconditional love, to really learn what does that really mean. I have my two girls, my two children who are now 23 and 19, have really, taught me what that really means. Because we all have so many, wants and what we like for our children. And we come from a good place. We kind of say, oh, yeah, but I know what's good for you because I've lived so much longer and this is good. But it's not about that. Everyone, every child, every baby, everyone who comes into this world has their own path to live. And I feel that my children have sometimes chosen situations where, oh, wow, if it would be me, I would really maybe think that I wouldn't really do that. But I have learned to love my children despite what they choose to do. And that's, I think, beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, it is time for us to go to break, but before we do, if you could please remind everyone, what is the title of your book, where can we get a copy, and how do we stay in contact with you?
Okay, perfect. Well, you can stay in contact with me. You can also give me a telephone call if you want a signed copy of my book, 305-610-7772. You can get it on Amazon.com, Balboa.com, and the title is Divine Sweetness by Janaki. And you can find me also on Instagram and Facebook under Janaki.
Alrighty, everyone. Now you know where you can get a copy of the book. We'll be back right after this. And we are back. Thank you so much for spending time with me here on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. You know who I am. I'm Dr. Angela Butts-Chester. My guest today is Janaki, and I am really enjoying my time with her today. We're talking about her book, Divine Sweetness, Love Aspirations. And I think we all have an aspiration to be our most divine self, our most loving, our most kind, our most unconditional love self. And I know that that is what many people aspire to be, the way that we are instructed to be more Christ-like. And I think that that is, in a way, what we are sharing and talking about today. How can we be our highest self? How can we be that light in the world for others to see? Now, I just have a few more questions for you, and thank you for spending time with me today. And that is with your poetry. And I'm going to put you on the spot here in a few seconds and say, if you would like to share some poetry with us, please feel free to do that. But before you do, did you have a particular aim with your poetry? In that, did you write it in a particular style or in a particular rhythm or flow to make it easier to read? Or did you simply just kind of open yourself up and let the words flow from you?
Yeah, I just opened myself up and let the flow come through me, and most of the poems are written really in a few minutes. It's not like it's like they just went through me, and then I just feel it like that with the words or how the words come together. I have a background with I love music. I play the piano, so maybe so maybe I do have a little bit like a little frequency in the way with the words, maybe like that. But they really come through me. I mean, obviously I have an idea about what I want to write. Like maybe now that you were mentioning before about that, maybe I could read a little poem. So I have a poem here. Maybe would be nice to share it. It's called Sacred. Okay, perfect. Like Sacred Marriage. So it goes like this. I married you secretly, sacred forever. As long as I hold your hand, nobody will have to know. Everyone will feel. The light of love shows its true blissful face, well hidden in our core, a diamond so pure. Transcending through devotional love, your light and my light dance together. Two powerful snakes intertwining upwards as time dissolves in spontaneous samadhi, bliss, fully aware in the eternal empty space. Totally ecstatic.
You know, I love how poetry allows you to get a glimpse into a different aspect of a different bit of the personality of the person who's writing, and that they are sharing from whatever space that they are presenting from. If it's a space of love, if it's a place of kindness, of gratitude, like how you were saying before, a place of balance, that you're able to read those words and absorb them into yourself and say, how can this make me better? How can this inspire me? And I love how you did that there. I have to agree with something that you said earlier. And my listeners have heard me say, I do not believe in happenstance. I do not believe that things just up and happen. I too believe that even good or bad, that things happen there, and we are supposed to take the lessons from the things that happen, take them upon ourselves and learn the lesson and be able to move forward. But I explained to so many people, sometimes the thing that happens isn't even necessarily for you. It is for perhaps someone in your future time. It is a lesson that you can learn because you need to explain it to someone else. And I love that bit, how we have done this in secret, but yet even when you do something in secret, it is known by others, because those who know you know that there's something different about you. They may not know what you have done, but they do know that something is different.
Yes, like I said. Absolutely. And you can. It doesn't have to be words. It's like when you're raising your children. It's not what you tell them. It's who you are. It's what you feel. You know what I mean? The unspoken words. Even that I use words, obviously, but it's the unspoken. What we truly are is what we transmit, obviously, at the end. And yeah, I have another one. If you maybe like, it's called Absolute Bliss. Okay. It's called Absolute Bliss. Joyfulness, the soul's abode, over oceans, over mountain peaks, to be by your side. The agony of my unsteady mind, lost in the affairs of love, longing to melt in the palm of your hand, remembering the ecstatic bliss, living in the now, over desires, over fears, to be by your side, old painful memories, controlling, conditioning, in desperate need, over pleasures, over pain, to have you by my side, joyfully always, only through self-mastery.
I like the word that you chose there in self-mastery. And we kind of touched on that a little bit before. I don't think that many times people choose to look inward. They tend to look very much outward, and even sometimes in a judgmental way of what is another person doing. But they forget how they say there may be one finger pointing at someone else, but you have three fingers pointing back at you, you know, when you point that finger. And people forget to let me look at what I'm doing first. You know, take care. Don't necessarily focus on, as they said, the speck in someone else's eye, but the log in your own. You know, make sure that you're dealing with your own issue before you can wag a finger at another. That being introspective and really looking excuse me, at looking at what can I do to help be that change. Your poetry is just absolutely beautiful. I love that.
I love that. That makes me have a big smile. Yeah.
It is so important, I think, for and my listeners have heard me say this before. We have to be who we are. We cannot fake it. And I know that sometimes that's become commercialized, you know, and it's like, go out there and just be you, you know, and we hear it in the movies and we see it on commercials. But how important that is to just be who you have been created to be, because someone needs to hear your words of inspiration. Someone needs to see you start at A and be able to complete the entire alphabet, ups and downs, struggles and good times, but to be that inspiration.
Yes, I have actually, now you say that, I have a poem about that, because I find that very important. God, I hope I find it very fast now. Like, we are needed. We everyone's expression, explaining that we here voice your truth, I think it's called 95. Yeah, so it says here, voice your truth, authentic honesty. Your voice matters. It is unique. We need your expression. Live it out fully, fearless, into the limitless sky, the voice of your truth to be heard by all, for revolution to take place in peace. You know?
Wow, that is so, that is, see, and we were just talking about things do not happen by happenstance. The fact that I made that comment, I had no idea that you had a poem about that. See? That is it. That is how that works. I love it. It is beautiful when we are able to just slow down and let things work the way that they are supposed to. I love it. I'm glad that we were able to spend a little bit of extra time together. We would have never gotten to this place if we wouldn't have had that extra time. So it was beautiful, and I'm so glad that we were both able to do that, because I think that is going to change someone's life. That was an awesome moment.
Aww.
So listeners, when we talk about, opening up and letting the universe talk to you, letting Holy Spirit talk to you, letting the Creator spend time with you, letting God into your day in the morning, we're all saying the same things. We may use different words, but when we understand at the very core of who we are and what it is that we are trying to do, I think that we can learn to accept each other for who we are, see that interconnectedness, and understand that we are all children of God and that we are all trying to be as awesome as we possibly can be. I love it. Janiki, thank you so much for spending time with me here today.
You're wonderful. It was really, really wonderful to speak with you, and I love listening to, I can just say, resonate, not surprisingly, I guess, with everything that you said. It was a wonderful, really a wonderful moment. I look forward to hear it.
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. If you can remind everyone one last time, what is the title of your book? Where can we get a copy, and how do we stay in contact with you?
Okay, you can find my book, Divine Sweetness by Janaki, Love Aspirations, on Amazon.com, Balboa.com, and you can also call me if you want a signed copy, 305-610-7772, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook under my name, Janaki.
Thank you again for being on the show.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Angela. It was really, really beautiful. I had a very good feeling. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And listeners, thank you for spending time with us as well. We hope that we have enlightened, inspired, and empowered you to be your best self. As always, may the Lord continue to shine His face upon you. May you receive His grace and His mercy in all that you do. Until next time, everyone, remember that you are blessed in the Lord. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.